Peace. You are tuned into Edible Activists with your host and favorite edible activist, Melissa L. Jones. On this show, we honor Black people and their stories in food and agriculture, celebrating legacy, traditions, contributions, and creativity that all stem from the land. So tune in and let's get started. Peace. This is your host and favorite edible activist, Melissa L. Jones. Today, I have two special guests, Kenny and Kut, both farmers and founders of Melon Nation, a powerful collective of Black farmers, artists, and agricultural specialists serving the East Coast with fresh seeded watermelon and tropical fruits. Their mission goes beyond the fruit. It's about health, wellness, sustainability, and bringing community together where art, agriculture, and culture meet. And their mantra says it all: it takes a seed to build a nation.
For
Welcome.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you. How are you?
Did I do all right?
You did amazing. You did amazing.
I have the pleasure of having both of you in studio, and it feels so cozy and so comforting on this, first day of August. We don't know when exactly this will drop, y'all, but first day of August. So I just, I love that we're kicking off the new month this way.
Absolutely. It's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So both farmers, artists, respectively, and the two amazing beings behind seeded watermelons and tropical fruits and all the things. So we're going to dive into that. But Kenny, we're going to, kick off with you and your journey and how you came, into this land stewardship space that led you to all the great work that you do in the ag scene right now.
Indeed. So I'm Kenny. Native Washingtonian. I was born in Southeast, raised in that area during my early childhood, and then moved to PG County just across the border, and spent most of my childhood and earlier adolescence back and forth between the area in which we currently serve and the community that I was raised with when my family moved, and throughout my experience as a young adult and going into, my professional career, I took a liking to social service, public health work. And throughout my college experience, I did a lot of advocacy work within juvenile justice and mental health. So I was in the spirit of stewarding, just working more closely with people, working more closely with my community, families, and things of that nature. And as I grew into, having my own family and raising my own children, it was a challenge with going out and servicing community and also maintaining a balance within my household. And, horticulture became one of those avenues for me to kind of like blend the two. With taking care of my family, we were able to put our hands in the soil and use that as a source of therapy for, just going through our own challenges as a young family. And then I was able to transmute a lot of the stress and things that I was experiencing in the workspace through gardening. And throughout that experience, I got closer to God through a spiritual temple that I was associated with, and was invited out to work on some land out on the Eastern Shore. And working on that land on the Eastern Shore, I got my close connection and discovered, the stimulus through which my purpose will be fulfilled, which was through agriculture and serving the people through food as medicine, through nutrition and things of that nature. And so, that's just a brief intro into how I got into this work. But, there's so many ways in which, that story could go,
It's never linear.
Yeah.
The journey isn't, so
Sure.
So many lanes. Kut, you blend artistry and, other creative ways behind Melon Nation and into land stewards, this land steward space? Like, how did your journey kick off?
Peace. Well, I first want to start to give thanks to my brother Kenny for bringing me into the space today. I know initially this interview is going to highlight his work, which, we still want to do 100%. And I think it just adds to his character, showing that he still brought me in because, I'm building with him in Melon Nation. But I do just want to give him his flowers and just to continue to pour into the work that he's doing for the community, and for the people. So
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
definitely,
Yeah, you my brother, no question.
Oh, I
uh,
love this.
I guess I'll start around the time that I was getting into this space. I've been building in the community in relation to being an artist, working in exhibits, curating shows, but working in photography, doing like album covers, single covers for local artists in the area. So my mind's always been around working with the community. And around COVID, it was huge shifts, obviously. In my world, it caused me to change, make some career shifts so that I could sustain my lifestyle and what I was doing. And also during that time, it walked me down the path of healing. So I began to really focus on all the tools that I was aware of, which would be like meditations, eating, what I'm consuming outside of food, whatever that be, like television, books, all the material that I'm entering into my temple. So I just became very much mindful of what I was doing and promoting. And so I met Kenny around that time. Believe that was in Suitland. It was at a market that you were at in Suitland. And he invited me out to a Tai Chi class, which, I was looking for things like that. I was looking for places I could volunteer and get my hands in the soil, because I knew that getting closer to your food would change everything. It would eliminate a lot of the issues that, we were running into, because it really starts within. And what we put in within eventually comes out as a reflection of. And so I ended up moving to Baltimore for a few years. I'm from PG. Ended up moving to Baltimore for a few years. Met Kenny shortly before that. He already was connecting me with individuals out in Baltimore to do what I was asking. And I eventually came back in the area maybe 2022, 2023. And I started to volunteer at the well. And so was really seeing what Kenny was doing with the space, seeing how his community supported him. And I saw a reflection of, a new space that, I could be a puzzle piece in. Definitely wanted to get closer with the land. I already had my own personal connection with, mother. And I definitely saw growing food was the next step, or at least assisting in some type of way. And so, eventually building with Kenny at the farm, just showing up, being a helping hand. We eventually, began to collaborate because we saw that, we couldn't really get to the vision that we wanted to on our own. It made more sense to collaborate,
For sure.
yeah, and bring the different angles together to build this nation that we got going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Two is better than one.
for sure.
Two is better than one. Thank you for that. So, what inspired both of y'all to co-found Melon Nation? And I know the why in being in this space, but for those who don't, why specifically seeded watermelons? Specifically, and tropical fruits.
Yeah. So, I was in more of the agricultural landscape relative to the community work. And Kut came in and brought his artistic and and all of his gifts into this space. And we just complement each other very well in terms of our deliverance when it comes to maybe the technical or skill aspect of agricultural gardening or farming, and then also the philosophical, artistic, you know, you know, imaginative and creative aspect of agriculture, and doing this work. And so it's a great fit, you know what I mean, when we come together, specifically around sharing our passion for health, wellness, as it relates to seeded and tropical fruit, because it's authentic, you know what I mean. We both have healing journeys that we're diving deeper into, and recognizing that whole foods is a necessity for being able to heal yourself in the most optimal way. We recognize the value in educating and sharing that importance with our community, and promoting that as a primary source of medicine. So when you talk about seeded fruits, you're talking about the lineage and DNA of food source as connected to the land. And when we think about foods that don't have seeds, you know, the commonality of all us that come into this world, whether we're a human or any living being, is that we come through a seed. You know what I mean? And so when you just think about us as human beings not being able to procreate or move forward that lineage, the same thing applies to the food that we eat. So it's missing some level of molecular structure that is necessary for our body, and particularly when we're talking about watermelons, watermelon seeds have so much nutrient content that we need, that you're really missing out when you are choosing to eat seedless watermelon. Like iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium, all of these things are contained within the seed. And so, we want the whole food. And when it comes to the tropical fruit, I'll let you speak a little bit more about our experience, related to that.
Yeah, with the tropical fruit, I see it as expansion. It's like traveling has done so much for me as an individual. Every time I've traveled and come back, I've always gained a new perspective. Always felt more connected to the earth because of the people. Like just traveling to like a Jamaica or a Thailand, just seeing how the different ways of life, and it shows me how simple life could be, and how complex we may make it because of this or that. And so one point that I like to share is about expansion, like just providing people with the option. Like, okay, look, it can be different. Taste this. It could be different. It doesn't have to be this. It could be this. And at the end of the day, people have their own decisions to make. But at least we're giving them the options, and like, yeah, like, all right, where'd you get this from? Jamaica. Oh, I gotta go there. Now it's like inspiring people to make that move, to go beyond their limits of what they believe what was once was. Like, oh, I can't go there. Now you're in Jamaica right now. You just bit you just bit Grenada. Like you're there. You have a connection. So now like go see her. Like go see how it's doing.
Yeah.
And to speak on the connection, like the Pisces Virgo combo is unmatched at the moment. Like we very very much blend well, and seeing each other's strengths and weaknesses, and able to build each other up and keep that flow of communication there. And with cedar watermelon, I speak to the symbol that is being promoted. If you have a seed in your watermelon, and I sell you the watermelon, now you can grow your own watermelon. You don't necessarily need us anymore. We would love to support. We're gonna keep it moving. But if you don't have no seeds in your watermelon, you have to come back to me. And now it's like, all right, now you gotta make a decision. Do I want to eat it or not? I can do whatever to the watermelon. You're gonna have to come back if you want the sustenance. And so we really, just promoting the sovereignty and community and unity. Like let's build each other up. We want to barter. We want to get to that place where it's like you don't need us, but we do need to work together in some way. So how does that look?
Yeah.
Wow.
it's definitely an educational aspect that comes along with moving and pushing the business forward and building community as well as clientele, because a lot of people are not exposed or don't have the awareness about the things or the products or the services that we're offering. And so, it takes a bit of energy to be able to put them in the frame of mind to even have this as interest. But there's also a thing happening right now in the community, or in the mainstream, where a lot of people are becoming more interested in their health and wellness, and also are seeing it as some type of exotic experience. You know what I mean? Now that we have these multiple colors of watermelons and these unheard of tropical fruits, it's like a peak point of interest that a lot of people, are hearing about. And, we're grateful to be at this intersection point where, we've been doing this work for some time. And now, the interest is, starting to increase. And, we're able to meet that demand, as well as educate people and guide them into other aspects of healing and resources, whether that be the farm that we facilitate, the farm operations that we facilitate in Southeast, or the art therapy workshops that my brother does, to help guide people along, those other aspects of wellness, which may be more intangible, like, the emotional and the spiritual pieces. So, it's a great meeting point. You know what I mean? I think it's a great stimulus, and that's one of the things that I struggle with throughout my personal and professional space is, wanting to offer help, also needing help, and trying to find that balance. And so within agriculture and farming, I am able to do this work that directly benefits myself and directly to benefit the people that I come into contact with and have relationship to, without it being, overstimulating or imbalanced. You know what I mean? It's reciprocal. It's a blessing.
As you were talking about like the different colors of watermelon, and you were talking expansion and exotic, like, especially as Black folk, we are drawn to color.
For sure.
So when we see someone who got y'all not just red, y'all got yellow meat, y'all got orange meat, all of that, like that's what's just circling through my mind, like
It
just
is.
the exotic, relationship, like and we love the Caribbean,
Right.
we love our Jamaicans, we love the exotic, we love the wild side, we love the countryside, and
Yeah.
so just being able to connect that and just back to we're connected to colors and we're drawn to
Absolutely.
colors.
Those colors resonate with our DNA, and, when we think about how the color content is associated with the nutrient profile, and how the color content, the nutrient profile, is also associated with the metaphysical aspects of, say, for instance, your chakras. You know what I mean? So we associate red with the root chakra, and also the red with lycopene. And so you're talking about some level of groundedness and taking care of your basic needs when you are sustaining yourself through watermelon, whether that be eating a watermelon or selling a watermelon, or, sharing a watermelon with your family members because this is all y'all have to eat. It's on a base level, that red, you can associate it with, your security, and I'm thinking about that in so many different ways. And then when you think about the red and the orange, I mean, the yellow and the orange. The yellow is associated with the solar plexus,
Yeah.
and the orange is associated with the sacral chakra. You know what I mean? And so, solar plexus having to do with your will and your drive, and the sacral chakra dealing more so with help me out, bro.
Creativity.
Your creativity and all
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
So those colors are also associated from a scientific perspective with beta carotene and zeaxanthins, which are antioxidant rich nutrients. And, so it's so many aspects about this work that is relatable on levels and layers. And that's really what, the symbol of our logo represents, that my brother put into play, is, the layers in which we want to connect, and the layers in which we're trying to, pierce through in order to obtain this level of self-determination, and this collective work that we're doing. It's so deep, but it's simple. You know what I mean? Our ancestors and our elders have been doing this for generations to lift themselves out of, all aspects of poverty. And again, we're not just talking about a financial return or financial benefit. We're talking about aspects of poverty related to your physical wellness, your mental capacities. We have been set back for so long, but we have been also given a blueprint as to how to move forward. You know what I mean? And so that's just what we find ourselves doing, is allowing our ancestors to move through us. We're not recreating nothing new. We just, putting our energy and our ashe on it, man. And
Right. And
it's
none of
working.
this is new,
For
right? You
sure.
say you putting your own touch to it.
Yeah.
That's it. So when you get the question of, and I've gotten the question, I'm like, y'all, I don't got the answers. I can just tell you where to get a good watermelon from and it'll taste good, okay? How does it get orange? How does it get yellow? Like, what, for those who don't know, and including me sometimes, I know it's been explained to me, but I don't remember. Charge my head, not my heart. Like, what is the beautiful magic behind the different, like, the seed and growing into various colors of watermelon?
That's a great question, and I'm not an expert on that as well, but I will give you my base understanding of the general science behind the variations of, a species of a thing, for example, right? It has to do with the DNA that's already coded in that seed. It also has to do with some level of selective modification, which I would distinguish and say is different than genetic modification. You can put two things next to each other and grow them alongside, and as they pollinate, they actually mix and create a new strand or a new strain, similar to how, folks are growing cannabis and you hear all of these new names on the weed. You know what I mean? It's a similar type of, manipulating, you know what I'm saying? But the original watermelon wasn't a red watermelon, in fact. It was more of a yellowish, orangish color
Oh,
as
I
it
didn't know
grew.
that.
Yeah.
Back in the
Enlighten
motherland.
me.
Yeah, so the red melons have actually been selectively modified, and to the point that now that we think that's the normal and or original color of the melon. But if we Google it and do our research, it tell us that the melons were from Sudan, and they weren't that color, and all of those type of things. So
Using them mainly for the water, right? Because it's naturally forming the water in there, so you don't gotta worry about where the water source is. And they started to select, do the cross
cultivate, we would say.
pollination, so they could get that sweetness in it, so they could add to it.
For sure.
I'd be down.
Yeah. So
And it's it's interesting because and we know watermelons, specifically red watermelons, are such, and still to this day, such a staple in the Black community in reunions. Like, I am a person who grew up attending reunions,
Yeah.
and what was dessert? If it was cake and watermelon.
for sure.
Even to this day, who bringing watermelons to the reunion?
Right.
We have photos of us like red watermelon, red
Yeah.
watermelon, and it will forever be a staple.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. Speaking to the water, there's a lot of water content, obviously, in watermelons, and so it is. I remember last year I did like a full. It wasn't even intentional. I just ate so much watermelon, I just cleansed myself on out, and I felt so good. I felt so light, and I felt so pure, and I had so much clarity. And I would love for many more people to have that same experience. Like, it is, especially like it is so cleansing. But just speak more to like the cleansing aspect of watermelon because of the high water content and the seeds. And my sister's always like, you're gonna because my mom will blend the seeds, and I'm like, blend everything.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Everything.
That's right.
It's so cleansing.
Yeah. It is extremely cleansing to the extent that, everyone around this time right now is raving about this watermelon challenges, and so
Right.
that's one of the things that we're experiencing an influx of as people are coming to purchase melons, or coming to uh, you know eh, share their experience with us. Is that I'm doing a 30-day watermelon cleanse, I'm doing a 7-day watermelon cleanse, a 3-day watermelon cleanse, and the magic behind it is that watermelons are so rich in electrolytes. It's like its own natural Gatorade. You know what
Right.
I mean? So you're not just uh, getting the water content. You're getting what is known as the H2O3.
H3O2. Yeah.
H3O2,
Yeah.
correct?
You got.
Expound on that a little bit, bro.
Yeah. So essentially, it's
I'm sorry, you said H3O2.
Yes.
H3O2.
All
It's
right.
structured water. And so it's not only gonna, detox you and cleanse you out, but like you were saying, the electrolytes with the nutrients is gonna bring that energy back to you. So you're not just depleting, you're adding back value. So now you can keep going forward. Versus, you drinking certain waters you can get out here. It's really just cleansing you out, and you don't really have no energy after you're not gonna. So if you're just trying to detox off water, you're just emptying your vessel,
For sure.
and now you're just empty. You want to add, life back into yourself.
So you're talking about the electrolytes that you're getting from the H3O2 from the watermelon, but then when you're also blending in and adding in that seed content, you're getting the iron aspect, which is good for the blood. You're getting the magnesium aspect, which is good for your muscles and your tendons. You're getting the potassium aspect, which is also good for your energy production and things of that nature, and the zinc, which is beneficial for your immune system. And so, you know, to indulge in that throughout any period, whether you're fasting completely on watermelon or you're choosing to remove some more unhealthier things from your diet, during this time of the season is critical. We're running and gunning from essentially June until the mid of November, and all we eating is watermelon. That's probably like one of our primary dietary,
For sure.
resources right now. But it keeps us nourished. It keeps us on go. But I will encourage you to, incorporate all whole foods in your diet, not just specifically fasting on watermelon. We need to be eating a range of foods, that have our fatty acids that we need for our cognitive and brain functioning. You can get you can get that from some of your leafy greens as well. You know what I mean? We need to be making sure that we're taking in proper protein, through your chickpeas or your quinoa, other sources, So the watermelon and the fruits are a complement as well as a supplement to your entire lifestyle, which is what we try to focus on encouraging folks is, to think about your lifestyle shifts that you could possibly be making during this time of the year to carry you over into, the fourth quarter, and then, going into that new year type of thing.
Well, y'all certainly have me beat with this intake of this watermelon. That's for sure. With the tropical fruits, what sort of tropical fruits do you guys provide to customers or to the community?
Yep. So one of the primary fruits that we're offering is the soursop. And then we're also offering mangoes,
You got mangoes, mangosteen, a few different type of mangoes, Ceylon, Imperial, Jubilee,
bombays.
Bombays. Yeah, so we're growing as the season develops too. So we're getting introduced to fruit that we haven't seen before. So we're doing our research real time,
Yep,
making sure it tastes great.
Yeah, no,
That's important.
and as we come into contact with the community and share the resources with them, they also share the resources and information with us. It's a two-way street. So it's
Yeah.
what fruits do you want to see us have in stock for you to be able to support and
We don't see cedar grapes too much around,
Yeah.
so we're gonna try and get those back in the area. We've been asked about papayas recently, so
Ooh,
we
yeah.
gonna we take all these into review, and see what works best on our end to try and bring it to the people.
yeah.
Kat, you're the artist, well, both of y'all are artists respectively,
For sure,
but you
for
you know
sure.
you're the artist behind this brand, right? And so first of all, I gotta shout out the watermelon truck that I hope that y'all see soon. If you haven't seen it, it's
You
super
will
dope.
soon. You will
For
soon.
sure. Yeah,
Melon in
leveled it
motion.
up.
It would definitely go shout out your socials so you can at least get a peek. But you gotta see this watermelon truck. But just in terms of the intersection of growing and just your touch on food and artistry, like what and blending those two, like what has been like super enlightening in terms of this journey with your artistry and like your touch in the food space. I know it was a loaded question.
That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. I'm seeing how I should tackle it. One aspect that comes to mind is, my brother Kenny speaks about how the farmer and the artist are one and the same. I also think about how it all can't be done alone. Like we all need to be in the same space, trading, our gifts and seeing where we fit in to elevate each other. Because as the farmer and the artist is the same, we may be viewing it differently because we having different tools that we're using.
For sure.
And then once we speak about it, it's like, oh no, this tool is very similar to the tool I'm using.
Wow.
We just, are naming it or, just using it differently. But, it's just the labels at the end of the day. Once we take away a label from something, we can use that tool for anything. It's just how we're, what perspective we coming from it at it with. So I would say it's just highlighting the importance of community, unity. A thought I've been having that's been running through my mind recently is that, we're never without community. It starts in the blood. We're always with our ancestors. We're always with, those we have experiences with. Even if in our mother's womb, like whoever she's been experiencing, like we're always, one, right?
For sure.
And so it just constantly pushing that thought, like, okay, I cannot do it myself. I shouldn't want to do it myself because that would be against nature. Nature shows you it's always going to be working together. It was like a quote. I'm summarizing it here, but it was like, yeah, a tree doesn't bear fruit for itself. It's always for someone else. And so that's, a way to live by at this point.
Yeah.
Those are bars.
Nah, for sure. And the philosophy behind the artwork and the farming work is like what is most exciting about being in this experience is because when you got your hands in the soil or when you're in real time weeding or making a bed or building a pathway, it applies directly to something that you or someone else may be experiencing that you can then transmute or turn into a lesson or a blessing. You know what I mean? And like bro said, his artwork goes on a canvas in some experiences, and I look at the farm as my canvas or the garden as my canvas. And the things that we're able to do collectively, way out, match or benefit anything that I may have had or thought that I could do individually. And so being able to move in a space where you feel confident about the relationships that you're building, to be able to extend yourself, you know what I'm saying, like both ways, that's community.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're looking to build and replicate and continue to reciprocate in all of these layers that we're talking about. So extremely grateful. When it comes to the truck in particular, we turned a 6x14 trailer into, what I'm saying, like
Y'all did that.
a machine. We turned it into a machine.
Y'all did that.
And I couldn't have done that without my
For
brother's
sure.
creative hand. You know what I mean? And that really put us into a space of branding and marketing that we really weren't considering. It was just really about the expression and being able to do something that we love. And now it's about legitimizing that and certifying that.
Certified cut.
Nah, for sure. Melon Nation,
Melon
Melon Nation,
Nation.
baby.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. I mean, the garden is your canvas, and just speaking to the philosophy. Goodness, I can't. Sometimes I can talk, sometimes I can't. But just the creativity behind your artistry, and just like blending that into the growing aspect. And what was going through my mind was like rhythms and being in harmony. And when we think about like our ancestors who again, this ain't nothing new, who was tending to the land, was catching their meal for the day, they were singing, they were harmonizing, like it was still a form of expression and creativity. And I was just drawing those parallels as you both were talking.
Yeah.
So, and doing it together, which you said was like very deep, like nature, this is done together. There's no sole plant that's just like, oh, I did it myself. No.
Yep. We talk about in the agricultural space, we talk about the mycorrhizal network or the root systems of plants and how they support each other. One plant or one tree across the field is connected to another tree or another plant across the way through their root systems.
Wow.
And they're able to send resources, support, and signals for each other's longevity. You know what I mean? They have each other's, they have the whole entire ecosystem has each other's best interests at heart. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Whether or not there are, adversities, right? Whether or not there are pests or insects or these issues, they all have a functioning role, you know what I mean, in helping to elevate and cultivate the most optimal experience, you know what I mean? And it's our role as the farmer and the artist to help shape that, to help steward that and put that into a framework and perspective so that we know what we're cultivating, so that we know what we're creating. We know what the balance should look like and feel like, And by no means do I think I'm there. I'm on my way. I'm working towards it, and it's a forever journey.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But
the same way healing is a forever journey,
Yeah.
every single day.
yeah, it's just good to be in spaces where you feel like, it's you can do that authentically. Yeah, you know what I mean, and safely.
And safely.
Yeah.
What's next for Melon Nation? What's next for the artwork? Like, what else are we injecting into the community? Because it seems like it's well received. You are at reach to folks who may not be able to get seeded, fruits. Like, listen, I would love to go to Jamaica every month,
Right.
but I ain't there every month. It's my favorite place in the world.
Yeah.
I love
Right,
Costa
it.
Rica. I didn't want to taste an avocado like here.
Yeah.
Actually, I haven't bought an avocado in months for different reasons.
Right, right. Feel you.
The next time I'll eat one's probably when I'm in Costa Rica, where I can pick it right from the tree.
Nah, for real.
So what's next for Melon Nation?
I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, so we do have a upcoming event this Sunday, and it speaks to the foundation that we're laying. It's called Melon Nation Earth Station, where we bring the community together just to have a family fun day, community day. But we also move with intention, where we're building the community up. So the first one we had our brother Rod from Blackout Automotive come in. He did a automotive workshop where he taught the community how to change oil, change your tire, check your brakes.
What's up?
Useful things. And so, and the one that we have upcoming this Sunday, we bring in Bethesda Boxing and Kickboxing Academy, and they're going to be teaching the community self-defense, how to throw a punch, how to defend,
Very
how
important.
to move, your stance, how to breathe. And with that, we'll have, an art station there where you can create, you can meditate. It's going to be in Anacostia Park, so it's going to be a basketball court nearby. Got the skate rink nearby, free melons and free juices for the community. So it's an all-around great time to connect and to build upon one another. And so with that, we'll consistently be putting these events together to just create a atmosphere, building the nation out of like, no, this is how it should and will look.
Yeah. And so, that's the community aspect of the work that we do. And then from moving the business forward aspect, we looking at expanding in distribution, you know what I mean? And so right now we focus on wholesale distribution, retail, through pop-ups, through street vending and e-commerce. So we want to position ourselves to be able to travel up and down the East Coast to expand our market season. So it's not just that we have melons from, July to October, but we want to be able to meet our clientele's needs throughout the season. You know what I mean? With that, we need resources to be able to do so. And so the other avenue in which we're kind of piercing through right now is through our Melons in Motion subscription delivery program. Now, I don't know too many people who doing a subscription program similar to like a CSA when it comes to watermelons and tropical fruit specifically.
I don't, Kenny.
And
I don't, Kenny.
Now you do.
Sure don't know nobody who delivering it right to your door.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
not melons, at least.
nah, for sure. We got the melon right at your doorstep.
Melon in motion.
And
Melon in motion, yeah.
Exactly.
In motion.
and so if you see the play on words, we're talking about.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
You can't
Very
miss it.
intentional.
Yeah,
very intentional.
Very much so. Without having to slap it all over your face and put it all up, in your grill too much. You see what's going on, and so we are offering a subscription program actually starting today, August the 1st, running up and through October the 15th. It's a 12-week, 3-month program in which if you pay up front, you get a 30% discount off of your watermelon delivery service for that 12-week duration. So that's about a $50 to $55 discount as to if you were to purchase melons for that same time frame and have them delivered to your door. In addition to that, you as a member, you get discounts on all of our additional products that we have on site. We're gifting merch during this first season of our tier offering, and you get the updates first and foremost before anybody else, and the offerings first and foremost before anybody else with that subscription. And so we're excited, about being able to do that, and again,
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Oh, say deliver watermelon, say less.
yeah, for sure.
Picking up watermelons is not fun, y'all.
Right
Not
to
for
your
me.
door. You in the apartment, we got you. Bring it right up to
That
your
is
door.
me.
We got you.
You sleep and you wake up in the morning, you open the melon right there on your doorstep.
Got a
You ain't gotta
melon,
think
might
too
have
much
a
about it.
juice. You might have a little soursop to bite
for
on,
sure.
you know?
Listen,
You might have
that
a
is
soursop
incredible.
on it, though.
Has that
yeah.
officially been announced, or is it just?
Yeah, so we promoted it this week.
Okay.
And have been pushing it heavy for the last couple of days. So
Y'all
we
also
have a
heard
few
it here on
subscribers.
Edible Activists.
Yeah. Now
so-
we got a few subscribers thus
Yeah.
far, and just really thankful for any level of support that we're able to get during this time in our growth and development. Man, it's necessary, and we want to grow together. You know what I mean? That means in partnership. If you have a service or an idea and you feel like we can trade and barter, or we can help elevate one another, that's really what the nation is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about bringing all of our collective resources, skills, talents, and abilities together and supporting each other. Like I look at it like Venn diagrams. Like, we don't have to have everything in common, but the areas that we do lock in, that we do have similar, let's lock in on them and support each other and moving and getting each other to that next step and that next goal that we may have collectively and individually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if there are things that you don't have in common, that can also work in your favor too.
For sure.
Because things that I certainly don't
Yeah,
know,
you
but we can.
let the right hand do what the left hand can't.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so exciting. Listen, y'all, when we were coordinating this interview, I had to send Kenny a text. I said, I want to order an orange watermelon. Please have my watermelon.
And then look, we parked about 10 minutes away, and I'm like, man, his watermelon's so Big, we just gonna have to bring it to her after the interview over.
He came bearing some gifts, which I appreciate. Bless the both of y'all. Ice cut. I said, "Where's my watermelon?"
The melon's on the way. The melon's
I
on the way.
listen.
It's in motion.
It's in motion.
Got you.
It has been a pleasure to
Yes.
talk to the both of you all. I am I'm elated to just see melons in motion, melon in motion. I'm excited to just see the growth, literally, no pun intended, or maybe it was a pun.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about everything that's combined into this, what you guys are building. And, just speaking to the community aspect of the things that you guys are doing, it really does help to also build trust, right? So yes, you guys are, known for the melons and the tropical fruits, but you're also providing, different experiences and services so that people can tap into being sustainable on a whole nother level. It's one thing to have the food sustainability, but what other skills can I build outside of food? It's a collective thing. It's never just one thing. Food is just one aspect of it, right? So I love that you guys are taking all these different components into consideration with this brand. It's amazing.
Appreciate that feedback.
Thank you.
Yes, I
Thank
do.
you.
And
Takes
I
a seed to build a nation.
man.
Hello.
Yeah, that seed. Oh man, I think about inception. You know what I mean? As soon as the thought you've been exposed to the thought. You can't undo it.
Right.
It's almost
You know
you
what I'm
have
saying?
a level of responsibility, whether you go with it or not. It's now you know.
Yeah.
Can't take the
You
glasses
know.
off.
You can't take your glasses off.
Can't take the glasses off.
at all.
And
So
What
so
you
that
doing
came
with it?
from the notion of it takes a village to raise a child.
it certainly does.
And you take that village aspect and you associate that with nation, and you take that child aspect and you associate that with the seed, and it takes a seed to build a nation, just like it takes that village to raise that child. You know what I mean?
Nurture
It's a
that
whole
seed,
inverse
absolutely.
experience. So, just grateful, man. It's so many things that are you can't even really speak on, but the feelings. My bros speak on it all the time. He be like, man, you understand? He be like, you get what I'm saying? He be like, yeah, I get what you're saying. But then he be like, but I gotta feel it. You know what I mean? I be like, all right, whatever, bro. But nah, when you feel it though, you get them goosebumps, and just off the thought or the seed of expression, it's like, nah, this real. This is a manifestation in the works. This is something that we can commit ourselves to. With longevity,
It's written.
Yeah, for sure.
We just showing up and doing the work that, was within our purpose.
Yeah, and shout out to everybody else who's doing this work, man.
I see.
You didn't come into this alone, and you have love and support for our comrades and our partners who are doing this work, and we're here to support one another in all the ways. So, it goes without saying.
They're the village too.
Yeah,
They're
for
part
sure.
of the village as well. Well, if someone wants to tap into the subscription, if someone wants to see all the amazing artwork that's part of this brand, someone wants a melon, where can they find y'all on social media?
Well, on Instagram, you can follow us at Earth2 Melon Nation. You can find our website at melonnation.earth. You can Google us there. We'll pop up.
Google us, baby. Melon Nation, Google it. You're going to be the first ones to pop up.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, find us at various markets around the city. Popped up. You're gonna hear about us.
Yeah, so
you hearing about us right now.
Throughout this
You are.
season, second and fourth Sunday, Black and Fourth Market with Angie and the Spice Suite and the Spice Girls. We've been doing that for this our second season running.
Yeah, I ran into you last summer.
Yep,
Me and my
yep.
mom were out there.
Yep,
Yep.
second and fourth Sunday, that's from 10 to 2 p.m. We are at Sycamore Oak on Thursdays
Yup.
from approximately 6 to 9 p.m. That's a family fun day, so, bring the kids. You want to have a good time, come on out Sycamore Oak right on the south side. We'll be right there to support all the work that they got going on over there as well. And then, we encourage you to go onto the website, put your email address in and subscribe so that you can get the updates and notifications as to what additional events we're going to be having coming up. It's a lot of things happening in August and September. And so we're going to be sending out the email list, just to try to corral support around those things. And we'll also be sending out notifications as to when the melons are coming in, when the tropical fruit is dropping, all that type of stuff. So if you're not ready to sign up for this delivery subscription program, we still encourage you to visit the website and put your email address in so that you can get the updates and notifications on time.
Listen, I don't got nothing else to say. Y'all heard it. Kut, Kenny, thank you so much.
We appreciate
Melon
you.
Nation.
Thank you
Oh
for
my
holding
gosh, it was an
space.
honor.
Yeah, thank you.
This was an absolute honor. Kicked off August with this conversation. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Peace.
Yeah,
Peace,
this is
peace.
Black August, man. I just want to say that.
Yes,
So
Black August.
yeah, so moment of silence for all of those who have done this work. And we're going to keep pushing it forward. We're going to keep pushing it forward,
Respect, honor,
Yeah.
peace, y'all. Thank you for listening to Edible Activists. You can find today's episode on Spotify, iTunes, and Simplecast, and follow along on all social media platforms at Edible Activists for updates. Want to support this platform? You can do so by purchasing our commerce or connecting with me about media partnerships at www.edibleactivist.com. In the words of Baba Tariq Adunu, there is no culture without agriculture. Peace.